Today we are continuing with practicals on strategic planning. Vision is where you can see yourself in the future as it pertains to what God has called you to do. Vision is where you can see yourself as it pertains to the future. 10 years from now, how do you see yourself? 20 years from now, how do you see yourself? That's what we see with the man in that field. The man in that field is not in that field physically, but that's his mental picture of being at a place of abundance, a place of a great harvest. So when we say vision, vision is a picture, a mental picture of your future. It's your destiny. It's your destination. That's your future. So I will expect you. And when we started the class 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that everyone should pray to God for a vision. God will show you the future as it pertains to your destiny. He has predestined every one of us. So you need to see a picture that gets you excited. You wake up from a dream and you are excited, or you receive a prophetic word, or you receive a vision that makes you excited about tomorrow. Now, you have to put that into one statement, and that is your vision. But I like you to write that whole dream down, that prophetic word, that dream. I like you to write all down, and you're going to share it with the class in a month from now. In a month from now. So, vision is a mental picture of your future. Seek God for a vision. We came to that understanding that God is the only source of vision. God is the only source of vision. And so, you always have to seek God for a vision. All right? Seek God for a vision, and God will give you a vision without fail. God will give you a vision without fail if only you will seek Him. Amen. So everyone should seek God for a vision. All right. I'm going to go on to the next slide. The next slide was give me a second. Don't let me pull it onto the screen. All right. Slide 4, slide 5, slide 6, 7. I have slide 9, slide 10, slide 11. Where is vision? I have this. I don't have. Okay. Okay. Good. What do you see on the screen? You see my mission screen. In this screen, we spoke last week of this being you, the various aspects of your vision, the various aspects of your vision. So these are not for people, these are your potentials, which you are assigning to the various aspects of the vision. As it is in this photograph, you see that the whole vision is being divided into a puzzle, and we have a puzzle of four. We have four uh, um, um, men carrying all the four aspects, but this is actually one person and his various potentials. So the blue man is his blue potential, the green man is his green potential, the orange man is his orange potential, and the red man is his orange potentials. It speaks to your calling. Many of us have got diverse gifts, diverse potentials, and we have to assign our potentials to the various aspects of the vision. We have to break the vision into various divisions and various departments. So I said that when God has given you a vision, the next thing is to break that vision into the various aspects. I have commonly used the example of a transportation company. God giving you a vision to own a big transportation company where you saw the operators, that's the drivers, uh, uh, assigned to their various trucks. You also saw the maintenance department. That's an aspect of the vision. In that same vision, you saw a fueling department. You saw some of the trucks being fueled, and in that same vision, you saw the warehousing department where goods were being offloaded from trucks and some trucks were being loaded. So, in the context of this image on the screen, let's say that the orange part of the puzzle is the operators department, and then the red part of the puzzle is the maintenance department where trucks were being fixed. Then the blue aspect of the puzzle is the fueling department where trucks were being fueled and gassed up. And then the green aspect of the puzzle is the warehousing department. Now, when God gives you a vision, He shows you vivid aspects of the vision that speak to your potentials that are inherent within you. And so, in the assignment that I'm giving you, within the next 1 month, when God gives you a vision, your mission must be the various aspects of the vision, and then you assign your potentials, your gifts. What gift in you matches the operators department? What gift in you matches the the maintenance department? Maybe you did some technical engineering in school, or technical yeah, let's say technical engineering school, and then what potential in you matches the fuel department, and then finally what potential matches the warehousing department. So that's what mission is about. So I expect you to match your potentials with the various aspects of the vision as God reveals to you. I hope you get that clear. Do you get that clear? I believe you do. All right. The next is your goals. Now, let's say, for instance, the operators department is one of your departments. You have to make a research into the operations function of a transportation company. You have to make a research, and the reason for your research is to find out why, or the kind of challenges that operators give in a transportation company? What are the problems that a transportation company faces with its drivers, with its operators? You need to know. And when you discover the various challenges that it the operators department or operations department of a transport company faces, then that is how you're going to determine your goals. So you don't just start out by saying that this is going to be my goal for my operators department. This is going to be my goals for the maintenance department. These are just going to be my goals for the warehousing department. No, you don't do that. You have to conduct a research. The reason is that you can never be competitive if you don't craft out departments that are unique, departments that set you apart. God has not called you to go and repeat what every other person is doing. The reason why God has called you into that industry, and God says, I'm going to make you the head and not the tail, God says, I'm going to make you great, is because you are going to do things differently. You are going to do things different from those who are in the industry. So the challenges that those who are currently in the industry face is what you are coming in to address. That's what's going to make your organization different. That's what's going to set you apart. That's what's going to make people patronize you. That's what's going to make you distinguish yourself. So every time, for every of your departments, you will have to conduct a research. And when you conduct a research, we also call that a feasibility. A feasibility. And you are not just looking for challenges, but you are looking for opportunities that have not yet been tapped, that no transport company is making use of. Opportunities that are there that can be tapped into. So you're looking at challenges, you're looking at limitations, you're conducting a research to determine that, or feasibility, and determining the opportunities. In the diagram that you see out here, or the picture that you see on your screen, you notice that there are two circles. The people were on These four guys were on one circle, and they realized that their goal was on another circle far away. And they realized that there was a valley between them. Let's say it's a water body. So they that that valley, or that water body between where they were and their goal, was the challenge. But you notice that they got all these shaped objects that they began to lay out to build a bridge to their goal. So their opportunity is in the materials that they are holding, with which you notice they are constructing a bridge over the challenge. So their goal is to construct a bridge over the river to get to their destination, or to achieve their desired result. I always say that whenever you think of goal, always think of a football match, a soccer match. In a soccer match where you have a very small leather ball that you have to get past the goalkeeper, who is standing as a limitation, and then the small goal post that the football, soccer ball, must penetrate. So it is it is the best example. So what you do is that you have to think of how to kick that ball with so much energy, that energy inside you, and the skill to be able to kick that ball to get past that goalkeeper and score that goal. So when you think of goals, think of a challenge, think of a limitation and an opportunity, and match it. And then you that's how you derive at goals for the various departments or the various aspects of your mission. All right? So that is a goal. Does everyone get it? Good. So a goal is not just about just giving agenda to all your departments. No, a goal is breed out of research. Discover the challenges, the limitations through research and feasibility, and the opportunities, and how you're going to use opportunities to match your challenge. All right, I'm going to the next screen, which is your objectives. Uh, Go ahead. Hmm. Okay, correct. Hmm. No, the research is how you discover the challenge and the limitation or the problem. What I have done on the screen is to give you a couple of words that give you a clue as to what a goal is, how to arrive at a goal. You know, in the common man's world, the people use vision, mission, goal, objectives, strategy, and tactics interchangeably without knowing that there is a difference between them. But mhm, good. Good. What you do is that how you are going to match, it's not only the problems that you are going to see in your research, you're going to see the problem and you're also going to see the opportunities. Okay. And actually, in our the next time we come back to feasibility, that is in about 30 days from now, we'll get out of feasibility. I mean, out of strategic planning after today. We'll get out of it so that you guys can do the assignment. But when we come back again, we're going to have a whole class on feasibility, on how to do effective research. But for now, just try to figure out, because I'm asking you for only one goal. Just figure out one goal, the potential challenges and problems that you could face in that department of your operators, and then what opportunities can you use to deal with that challenge. That will be a goal, how you tackle a challenge. All right, you're welcome. So we're moving on today to um, objectives. Objectives. Now, we said that objectives are your focus within a goal. When you have determined what a goal is, the next thing is to have objectives within the goal. Objective is a focus, is an aim, is an agenda. And we said there are 5 characteristics of an objective. We said an objective must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be attainable, it must be realistic or relevant, and also it must be timely or time based. Now, let me explain, and the acronym is SMART. And never forget the word SMART. When we say an objective must be specific, we're going to say so out of the goal, the one goal that you have, you might need to have a couple of objectives. And later on, I'll give you examples. I'll run through this, and then I'll take you to a very, very uh, uh, a practical scenario that will help you understand all this. Specific means that it must have like one name, maybe training, maybe procurement of machines. That's an objectives, or savings. Usually it's possible to describe your objective by one single word or at most two words. Now, it must be measurable. That means that you should be able to say that I'm going to be training between now, or the entire 2016 will be for for training, or I'm going to buy machines worth $2,000. That's a measure. Then attainable. Attainable means, do you have the resources to buy the machines? Attainable also means affordable. Do you have the money to pay for the training? Then the next one is relevant. Relevant means, or realistic. Another word for relevant is realistic. Now, if you want to achieve training within the next 1 year, 6 months, is the school willing to give you that training within that 6 months? Even though you are willing to do the course within 6 months, the school does not have a schedule that allows you to do it within 6 months. So you are not being realistic. You want to order machines worth $2,000. Is the company able to supply you all those machines that you want worth of 2,000 within the period you have slotted? So when we say a realistic goal, it takes into consideration the other people and the other factors that must play a role in you achieving that objective. Then timely. You should be able to say, or time based, you should be able to say that it is for 6 months. It is for 1 year that I want to save money. It is for this specific period of time. For this specific period of time. So objectives are your focus. They are your aim. They are your agenda. After you have discovered your goals, the next step is objectives. Any question before I move to the next slide? Strategy. Strategy has got to do with your uniqueness, how you harness your resources to engage your competition. You notice in the image that we have this white um, the word is uh, token, the white token. And notice that he's up against all these about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 tokens. He's up against all of them. That means he's limited in resource. Strategy is how you harness your resource to engage your competition. You remember Jesus spoke about a man trying to build a tower. If he will not sit down first and consider what he has, whether he has sufficient to build that tower. Now, the story that comes into mind when you think of strategy is when David had to come up with Goliath, you know that Goliath was more sophisticated than David, and yet David had knew how to use just stones. He was skillful at using a stone. So you notice what he did. He added his knowledge of God to that stone. He leveraged the fact that Goliath was not into covenant with God. So he declared openly that Goliath, you are an uncircumcised Philistine, and you dare to defy the armies of the living God. That means that he was leveraging his covenant relationship with God to say that, Goliath, you come against me with spears and swords. You are so sophisticated and well armed, but I come against you in the name of the God of Israel. So David is being strategic by harnessing his covenant relationship with God with one piece of stone. And guess what? He brought down Goliath. He brought down Goliath. So when you think of strategy, you have to think of what you have. What you have is your limited resource and God's will, revelation. So when you add God's word to the small resource that you have, you will be able to accomplish great things. You'll be able to accomplish great things, the impossible. Now I'm going to the last aspect of vision, and then I will do a practical scenario. The last is tactic. Tactic also means method or task. You notice in the diagram that from one thing to the other, from one thing the arrow leads you to another. So it's the method, it is your execution, it's your process, it's your formula, it's your implementation. It's the same thing. All right? It's the same thing. This is the end. This is what is literally done at the least point of your execution or implementation. When you have settled on the strategy that you are going to implement, the strategy, then the next thing is your tactic. What did David do? David picked the stone, he put it in a sling, he he waved it and shot it to death. That was his method. That was his deployment. That was the process by which he brought down Goliath, by leveraging that one stone. So it is what anybody who is working for you in your company, the least worker, will do in the light of your entire strategic plan. It's the task. It is how you put your hands to the work. It is how you actually implement what you started out as vision, and then mission, and then you broke it down into a goal, and then to an objective, and then developed a strategy, and now the tactic or the task. This is what you physically do. You notice that in the lower aspect of the image that you are looking at, you see putting the puzzle together. And then you notice that there's a time clock attached to it. That means at 8 o'clock, this is what I'll do. I'll put the first puzzle. 9 o'clock, I'll put the second puzzle. 10 o'clock, so when you talk about tactic, method, and task, it's all what you will do at certain points to execute your strategy. So tactic or method or task is the assignment, is the execution, is the implementation, is the process, is the formula. Now, I'm going to use um, an example to highlight all of this. Uh, Tell me if you see on the screen, you see a diagram with vision at the top. You see it now? Good, awesome. So now I'm going to use this diagram to illustrate what I have taught. You notice that at the top of the diagram, the big box on top is vision. And vision, the vision here is a transportation business. In that vision that God gave you, when you prayed for a vision for your life, He showed that you were in a big compound with several trucks, several drivers were in the trucks. There was a fueling department where some trucks were being gassed up. There was also a maintenance department where trucks were being fixed. And then there was a warehousing department. You saw that big vision. When you saw the vision, you woke up excited. So you notice here that we have underneath the big transportation. Now, when you see that vision, I want you to write the whole vision down for me. The whole vision down. What God showed you. The dream, the vision. All right. When you write that dream, that vision, and it might be 2 or 3 nights that God shows you consecutively. I've had visions like that where it moves from one night to another, or within a space of 2 weeks. God is showing you so many things, so many visions. Write everything down. Just write the vision and make it plain upon tables. That's what He says in Habakkuk. So let's, at the next level, you see mission 1. In mission 1, you see the operators. Under mission 1, you see the operators. Missions 2, you see the maintenance department. And then mission 3 is the warehousing. I hope you see it. Do you see that on your screen? Hello? Do you see mission 1, operators? Mission 2, maintenance. Good. Awesome. Yes. So now that is the what you are going to do in your assignment for missions. In your assignment for missions, you are going to list the various aspects of the vision. Okay? Then you are going to focus on one. Over here, we focus on the operators. That's the drivers, the operators department. Okay? And then within the operators department, when we assigned out, you assign your potentials to all these departments. What gifts in you are you going to use for the operators department? What potentials in you speak to the maintenance department, and what potentials in you speak to the warehousing department? So that's what you're going to do at that level of the assignment for missions. Okay? Then the third assignment is your goals. Your goals, you take one department, which is operators, and you notice that I have 2 goals for the operators department. Defensive driving, that's goal 1A. And then goal 1B is accountability. All right? This is how I arrived at defensive driving. I noticed that one of the biggest problems transportation companies have is with accidents. Accidents. Okay? And the antidote or the opportunity that tackles accidents is defensive driving. Defensive driving. The next goal, which is goal 1B, was accountability. The problem that I realized with operators is how that they will say that they will lodge a complaint that the vehicle broke down, for instance, for the most part of the day, when in actual fact they were working and they've made that money and pocketed that money, all right, or they went on their own errands. So the only the way to deal with that is what we call accountability. So these are two goals, but your assignment requires you to focus on only one goal. Okay, so the goal that we're going to focus on in this context of this assignment is the driving defensive driving. Now, under that goal of defensive driving, there are two objectives. The first objective is to use technology to tackle the issue of defensive driving. Okay, technology, that means that to put some mechanisms. For instance, there is a goggle there is that drivers can wear, and anytime they feel sleepy and they close their eyes for more than a blink, suddenly there's going to be a buzzing sound, all right, that wakes them up. So we can use technology to prevent accidents, but I'm not going to focus on that. Notice that the second objective is training. And you remember that I said to you that every objective must have a clear name. It must be specific. So I don't loop the two objectives together, technology and training. I separate them. Technology is a different objective as far as the goal of defensive driving is concerned, and training is also a different objective. So let's focus on training. Let's focus on training. And we said an objective must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be um, attainable, it must be realistic, and it must be timely. So now I'm gonna split my objectives into two. All right, one objective to get strategy to obtain the objective. So at the strategy level, I am looking at two ways that I can attain training. Number one, qualification. That means that before we hire any driver, we're going to make sure that they have a high standard of training before they come in. So that is one objective, to make sure that our drivers are trained in order to be defensive drivers. Number two, the second strategy 1B, is recertification. So I've decided to focus on a strategy for recertification. Last week we mentioned the fact that it is important, and he works in a transport outfit. It's important to certify your workers at least once a year to make sure that they are recertified. So the strategy will be recertification, but that's a lot of money to recertify your drivers at least once a year. So how are you going to achieve it? You're going to have to have two tactics to achieve that goal. At the tactic level, you're going to say that every driver must make sure that they either self-sponsor themselves to achieve recertification at least once a year, or you're going to have an in-house training program where probably for one whole week every driver will have to come in and take that in-house training program for the purpose of certification. So you notice that at the end of the day, This is what every driver has to do. The task of every driver is to make sure that they attend a an in-house training program. By each driver attaining an in-house training program, you notice that they fulfill your strategy for recertification. They fulfill your objective for training. They fulfill the goal. Now I'm climbing up of defensive driving to avoid accidents. When we climb up, you see that you have a flourishing operators or operations department. Guess what? The vision becomes a reality as far as your operations department is concerned. Everybody from the top to the lowest is implementing your strategic plan to ensure that at least the level of accidents that can run your company aground, that can rob you of your profits, that can get you into litigation, that can minimize your profits. The problem is minimized to a great extent because of your strategic plan. Do you get it? Now, I'd like you to